If you want to know the science behind how your body actually loses weight, well, you've come to the right place because in this episode of the Eric Roberts Fitness Podcast, that is exactly what we will be covering. We're going to dive into how your body loses weight, how to force your body to lose weight so you can understand it and implement it immediately into your life. As always, on Fridays, we are joined by my co-host, my current Colombian co-host, Sophie. What's going on, Soph?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How's Colombia?
It's great, dude. It's pretty awesome, can't lie. It reminds me a lot of home actually. It looks a lot like Venezuela, so I like it. Yeah, so far so good. I had this idea of Colombia before that like it wasn't super safe, and that's not I don't know all the cities, but where I'm at right now, pretty good. Like today I went on a walk by myself.
hmm
It's fine. Yeah, so
I feel
yeah,
like
it's
I've I
been
feel like
good.
I've heard that as well. I've heard it's not safe, but then like you could walk in Washington D.C. and it's not safe. You know what I mean? So like I don't
Right.
know.
Exactly. Just like in Florida, some areas in Orlando are not nice.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
hmm
100%. Cool, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Glad
dude,
you're
it's
enjoying
good.
yourself.
The Coke tastes different here. Fun
hmm
fact.
You
Yeah.
drinking a
I
full
think it's because
sugar
they don't.
Coke?
No, not right now. This is a Diet Coke that I had. I tried a regular Coke the other day, and I guess they don't do high corn fruit
Syrup,
syrup. What
high
is that called?
fructose corn syrup.
That they don't have that here, so it tastes really different. So
hmm
yeah, things here are not super sweet. That's one thing I've noticed.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they're not
yeah. So
designed
far
to
so
just
good, dude.
make people fat like they are here. So, I mean,
That's that. Yeah, yeah. But no, it's been good,
yeah,
dude. Good time.
that's good.
I'm
I'm
working, so
glad,
it's
man.
just like I do stuff in the afternoons. So yeah,
That's sick. Yeah. You been to the
yeah.
beach
How
yet?
are you? What? There's no beach here. We're Medellin is not by the water.
What the
It's like a
fuck?
mountain. It's like a mountain town, actually. We're in the
Okay.
mountains,
Okay.
so there's a bunch of hills. Yeah.
Okay. So you're like hiking and stuff.
I could this weekend, but I'm not hiking. No, it's
Okay.
just a city, dude.
So you're like,
Eric
it's
can't
like,
understand why would
no.
anyone want to go somewhere that's not
You see, I'm
beach
having
town.
trouble like comprehending this, right? Like,
Like what? No, I see it in your face. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like, dude. Remember, I
I
live
don't
in
know, dude.
Florida, right? Remember that?
I know, man. That's crazy. Well, nonetheless, that's cool. I'm happy for you, man.
You'll be in
You want to
Florida
hear
back again.
we say
I said you're gonna be in Florida again soon.
Florida again soon? Yep. Be there for
Hell
like three and a
yeah!
half weeks. Yep. Gonna be
Oh, that's how long
got the
you're going
retreat.
for?
Yeah, dude, because we got
Damn.
the retreat, and then like 2 weeks after that, High Rocks race. So I'm not gonna like
Right,
come back home for a week and then go
right.
back to Florida. Like I'm just gonna stay.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
cool.
dude, gonna be
I forgot
rocking
you were
it out.
doing that. Forgot you were doing
Yep,
that. That's cool.
yep,
That's awesome, dude.
yep,
What else you got
yep,
going
dude.
on?
What else I got going on? When they hear this, I'll be in Turks tomorrow. So not right now. I wish it was right
Oh,
now as I'm recording this.
God, the way that
But
I don't catch up to
I
things.
know it's okay. It's
It's
all
like, what
good.
do
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so when people hear this, I'll be in Turks and Caicos tomorrow, so I'm super excited for that. I'm
Period.
excited, but like I don't know if you get like this, like I don't know. This is my like one trip a year where I
Right.
don't do anything. I don't work. I totally disconnect. But like there's so much going on, right? Like like Monday, yesterday, today. It's just like I have so much stuff that I want to do. And so I'm like I can't even like really get excited because I'm just like I'm so focused on the work that I have to do.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I am excited, but like at the same time I can't really like get excited because like I don't there's
You're
just so
so
much going
busy.
on. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so much going on. So I'm sure
And
like
even when you get to the airport, you're
Saturday,
still gonna be working.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I'm gonna work up until I have it like when I step foot in the new country, I don't work. But until then, I will work. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
No,
see. I'm excited for that.
I get that. I feel like leading up to any trip, I'm very, very stressed. Because like there's so many components for me, like, oh, like I gotta get caught up with work and like whether or not I'm gonna be working. Then I have to pack a million things because I'm always like I'm a very heavy packer. And then like I gotta figure out stuff with Bruno and it's just like Jesus. This
Yeah,
is so I get it. I get it.
it's a lot.
Get
Yeah, it's a lot,
Trust me, I
dude.
get
So
it. I get it. Yeah. Dude,
yeah,
I told you like when I came to Colombia, I flew out of Miami and there was like really, really bad Wi-Fi and I was pissed off. Like, how is this? This is not okay. Like this is fucking with my entire like flow that
mm-hmm.
I had. So that pissed me
Mm-hmm.
off. Yeah.
Dude, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
dude.
get so many things done just before then. So, but yeah, it's,
Yeah. Don't
obviously
rely
first
on the
world
airport
problems.
Wi-Fi. Don't rely on
Apparently
their
not. I
Wi-Fi.
know. I mean, knock on wood, I've never had any issues at the one I go to, but I'm hoping that's remains the case. But
Yeah.
oh well, if it happens, it
Cool.
happens, man. So
Yeah, dude.
cool.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Love it.
Anything else you'd like to share with us today?
I have a funny story, kind of a funny story.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when I drive my Lamborghini to the gym, I always park
Uh-huh.
like on the side of the gym where like nobody else
Mhm.
parks because I'm like, stay away from me.
Yeah.
So I walk out to my car yesterday and there's this like huge like truck, like those like big lifted trucks with the big tires and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
just me and him, like right for some reason he parked next to me and I was like, whatever, like there's a million spots, but you could park there, it's fine. So he parked next to me and so as I was walking to my car, he gets out and he's just like, "Hey, dude, like that's a sick fucking car." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, man. Like I appreciate it." And it comes to find out he has a Lamborghini as well. He has like one of the two-door Lamborghinis. And so we started talking about just like cars, Lamborghini. And then we were in like mid conversation. He's like, "Yeah, man. So like, what do you do to afford a fucking Lamborghini?" And I was like, "Well, man, like I started actually like working over right over there at the gym and like now I have my own online business." And I started talking and he's like, "Wait a minute." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Did you used to work at One Life, the gym I worked at?" And I was like, Yeah, that's where I worked." And he was like, "I tried to get you to work for me." And I was like, "What?" And then he goes, "Yeah, I was," and I remember this, but he was a manager at Lifetime, the gym that was right next to One Life. And I remember he tried to get me to go over there to like be a trainer over there and work for there. And I basically told him like, fuck off. Like, no, because I'm going to go, like, I'm going to do my own thing. And he was like, "Yeah, you told me to like fuck off." And I was like, that was my bad, man. I'm like, he's like, "No, clearly it worked out for you." But
I
he's
was
like,
gonna say, no, hell
yeah,
no. We're
yeah,
glad.
but it was funny because he was like, "Dude, that's so funny." He was like, and it's funny because he worked at the gym, and then once COVID happened, he was like, "I'm not going to work here anymore. I'm going to go start my own business." And he does like a trucking business, so yeah, he's been super
Dude.
successful in that. I've been successful in this. And it was just like funny. We both kind of like crossed paths right there. But he was like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "You told me to fuck off." And I was like, "That sounds about right." I'm like, "That sounds like something I would say."
Dude, what are the
So
odds?
yeah,
What are the
so that was
odds?
funny.
What a
Yeah, that was a
coincidence. I love
funny
it.
coincidence indeed.
Wow, I didn't even think about your car as like a conversation opener for you. Like
Million
an
percent.
easy way to make friends, like kind of like me with Bruno. Easy way to
Yeah.
make friends.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because he had well, it's funny, so he bought his car and then he actually shipped it to Miami. He just like rents it out in Miami. Somebody fucking totaled it. Somebody crashed it and totaled it like 5 months ago. And so he was like, "Yeah, I'm waiting for like a big check so I can go get a new car." Da, da, da. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." So, but yeah, man. Yeah, it's definitely it, and people, there's people who like just like, it's a lot expensive, but like I love the car, like I've always wanted it, I've loved it. And so people who are like that, I can like strike up a conversation with so easily because I'm like, it's not about like the money of the car, it's like just the car in general, like a nice car is like, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a conversation starter.
Dude, no, I freaking love that. Also, you ever think about how I was thinking this the other day now that I have a new car, but like we're really at everyone's mercy when it comes to cars. Like anyone could just like come up to your car and scratch it. Isn't that crazy? Like
Yeah, I'll
anybody
shoot
could do
them.
that. Well, Eric, you wouldn't know who touched their car. How would you
True.
even know? But you know
Yeah,
what? I would because my car has cameras and it records. She got a
that's
Tesla
good.
next. Anyways, all right.
We're
You ready
talking
to
about
get
science
started?
science of weight loss today. That's what we're talking about. So, yeah, let's dive in.
Awesome. All right. So let's do question one. Everyone is always talking about calories in versus calories out. Why do some people seem to lose weight easier than others, even when they're eating the same amount? What's actually going on metabolically?
Yeah, so I think there's so many things to this of why someone would lose weight easier or faster than somebody else. Coach Mary and I actually did a podcast on this recently. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, I would highly recommend go listen. Very, very good podcast where you hear two great coaches talk about this. But one of the reasons, and I made a video on this, it didn't do well on the internet. I fucking wish it did. I'm so sick of fucking short. Like today, I made some video like going over. Did you see the video I made today?
No, I honestly have
No.
not been on my phone at all, my
Yeah,
dude.
well, that's great. I'm happy for you. But like, I made a video today, and like, I knew it was gonna do good, but it just makes me mad. Like, it just whatever. But I made a video about somebody could be eating the same amount of calories, but if person A is eating 1,800 calories and 80% of their food is coming from processed foods, low protein, carbohydrates, and person B is eating 1,800 calories and it's coming from high protein, minimally processed, nutrient dense whole foods, those two people would have a vastly different thermic effect of food, which is how many calories your body burns digesting food. So, just for easy math, person A, who's eating low protein, high processed, they might burn 200 calories a day eating that way. And person B, who's eating high protein, minimally processed foods, might burn 450 calories a day digesting food. So even though they're eating the same amount of calories, person B would lose weight faster because they're creating a bigger calorie deficit than the person A. So like that's just one example. Person B would be, if we're strictly talking about why someone would lose weight faster than somebody else, person A could be walking 3,000 steps a day and person B could be walking 10,000 steps a day because maybe they have a really active job. I was talking to Rich, our employee Nicole's husband earlier, and he was just like, during the summer, dude, I get 15K steps like it's nothing because he's a police officer and he's outside and he's working and he's doing all these things. And so you might have a really active job and somebody else might not have a really active job. You might be 4'11" and I might be
Okay.
6'4". So like there are so many things that affect how fast somebody would, gain or lose weight. And then even on top of that, everybody's genetic starting point is a little bit different. So I've talked about this before myself. I talk with my hands. I tap my like the other day. I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning. Like this has been happening recently, and I'm just like ready to go. So I just like get up and start working. And it was like 4 a.m. and I'm just like tapping my foot, doing a whole bunch of work. I'm like super high energy. I'm like, this is not normal. Like most people, this is not normal that most people do this. But that's just like when I wake up, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to go. So, but that's just my genetics. I can't do anything about that, but that will impact my calorie burn. Like right now, speaking of my calorie deficit that I pretty much ended 2 weeks ago. I know you kept asking me and I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I pretty much just ended it 2 weeks ago, but I'm up to like 3,800 calories per day. And like, I'm still kind of hungry. Like, and so I can do that because of my metabolism and I have a high NEAT. I burn a lot of calories just through sitting here doing nothing, essentially, of me tapping my foot, moving my hands. So, when you kind of ask like what's going on metabolically, there could be various things going on metabolically, whether it be food quality, whether it be energy expenditure, genetics, potentially hormones, right? Like somebody who maybe you're in perimenopause, maybe you're in PCOS, which by the way, I don't know why this has been happening, but ladies, I love you, but I've gotten like 5 emails in the past 2 days of people basically like reaming me out that like whatever I say is not going to work for them because they're in perimenopause or menopause. And like I'm petty as fuck. So I respond back to the email with like 30 transformation pictures of the
I'm dead.
clients that we've coached. And I'm like, hey, this is Jean. Hey, this is Carol. Hey, this is Shelly. Hey, and it's like, it's just 30 fucking pictures. And I'm like, would you like to see more? I have thousands more. And they just don't fucking respond. So yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like, I'm just, I'm saying this because I know it makes it harder if you have perimenopause, Hashimoto's, PCOS, hypothyroidism, these sort of things. It doesn't make it impossible, though. It makes it harder, doesn't make it impossible. So there could be a lot of things going on metabolically, but the reason I always say I keep coming back to it's calories in, calories out, because it is. There are things that affect calories in, calories out, but it does always come back to calories in, calories out. No matter the only way it doesn't, there's only one scenario when it doesn't. If you are a plant, and you run off of photosynthesis. So if you're like an oak tree or an olive tree or a bed of roses, then you run off photosynthesis and not thermodynamics. But if you're a human being, then you run off of thermodynamics, energy in, energy out, and it will always come back to that.
Dude, okay. I have a couple of questions. So when you say that someone can move a little bit more, like spend more energy, then does that mean that TDEE, I think is what it's called. Like, is there really an actual answer for everyone? Because I can be 4'11", and then I can have another girl who's like the same as me, 4'11", the same body weight, the same like composition. But if I move a lot more, and I'm not even talking about going on walks, like if I'm like very fidgety, that means I can spend more energy, right? So I'm burning more calories. So then is it really true that like you can even go calculate your TDE? Like, is that even accurate?
It's accurate to a degree. And this is why I always say, like, these, if every if people listening, if you click the link in the description of the podcast, you can use my free calorie calculator. It's just a starting point. So like no matter what, it's just a starting point. And so you would
Mhm.
do that, you would implement it, and then you would get the results from that and see, am I losing weight? Am I staying the same? Am I gaining weight? What are my trends doing? And then you would adjust from there. So now with like, if let's say somebody joins coaching with us, we get a lot more information up front about their lifestyle, their routine, their previous dieting history, their body progress pictures, their measurements. So we'll be able to like more accurately depict their starting calories for their calorie deficit than just a calculator, for example. But it's all just a starting point that you can then work off of.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess with what you're saying, in my head, I've always thought like total calories. Like I've definitely had days like where I'm not really thinking about what I'm eating. But based on what you're saying that eating better, more protein will help you burn more calories, which ultimately will put you at a higher calorie deficit. But I'm also thinking like if you're eating quote unquote bad foods, right? Which, whatever, let's say a lot of processed foods, then that can probably also lead you to be more hungry and therefore not stick to your calories as much, also, like without
100%
a
correct.
person necessarily realizing it.
Yeah, and that's where again they like when we say it always comes back to calories in, calories out, there's so many
Yeah.
things that affect calories in. Like somebody just signed up for coaching today. Shout out to Serena. We're excited to get you started, Serena. You
Sabrina.
could be like Serena if you click the link in the show notes and join coaching. Um, but she was like, man, like sometimes I just like I wait too long to eat. I get home, I'm starving, and I overeat. And it's like, yeah, so like her not eating was a catalyst of overeating. But it's like, so that it comes back to calories in, calories out, but the reason, the catalyst, is because she wasn't eating enough during the day. And then somebody might say, well, if you don't eat enough during the day, you're going to gain fat. It's like, are they wrong? It's like, they're right. Like, it's kind of right, but it's because of the calories in, calories out. So it all just affects that. Everything affects that.
Awesome. Can you break down what actually happens in our body when we're in a calorie deficit? How does our body decide to burn fat versus muscle? And what can we do to protect our muscle mass?
Yeah. Do you know, have I told you this before? How your body actually gets rid of fat?
I mean, I'm sure you have.
Do you know it?
Hold on, let me think about this. How does our body get rid of fat? I mean, I don't know. I actually don't. Wow, that's sad. I'm
No.
sure you're gonna say the answer and then I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, like I've definitely heard you talk about that.
So I'll talk about like
I don't know the
the
sciencey part of it.
yeah, I'll talk about the question, but how your body actually loses fat is you breathe it out. That's how your body
No,
releases fat. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, dude.
BS.
Swear to God. Why would I
Wait, what the
lie?
Wait, what the fuck? I did not wait, I did not how could I forget such interesting fact? I'm sure
Yeah.
I've heard you say that. That's really interesting. Tell us more, Eric.
Well, you breathe it out like it
Wow.
comes it comes out through like the oxide. You breathe it out. You I don't want to go super in depth for people. Somebody told me the other day on the podcast, they're like, some of the information's getting really in depth. I'm like, that's a good thing though. But yeah, you actually breathe out fat. Okay, to answer your question of like, how does your body decide to burn fat versus muscle? Well, a couple of things. If you are resistance training, so in the simplest way I can break this down for you, when you give your body, let me think of an analogy here. Okay, think of like a ship that's lost at sea. So to stay afloat, the crew needs fuel for the ship. They can either burn the oil, like in the hold, which is your body fat, or they can start chopping up like wooden parts of the ship to put it in the fuel, put it in the fire. If they start chopping up wooden parts of the ship is eventually going to sink lower and lower, and like it's going to eventually sink overall. But if it takes the oil, it won't sink because it doesn't damage the structure of the ship. So, how do you make sure you don't chip away at the wooden part of your ship? You resistance train. You have to give your body a functional reason to keep your muscle. And this is why it's so, so important to keep lifting weights and keep pushing yourself heavy weights when you're trying to lose fat. Like I've been doing some TikTok lives recently, and the amount of people who ask me, should I just lose fat first and then build muscle? It's like, no, you're going to lose more muscle. You're going to slow down your metabolism more. It's going to be harder for you to regain that muscle tissue. So it's so important. Your body will not keep the muscle unless you give it a reason to. So the first reason is lifting weights, and the second reason is protein, because when your body has protein, your body wants to get rid of the muscle because it's very metabolically expensive. It burns a lot of calories. When you go into a calorie deficit, we've learned before, your body wants to actually slow down your metabolism. So it wants to get rid of the muscle. But if it's like, fuck, I can't get rid of the muscle, I have enough protein and I'm lifting weights, it's like, okay, well, you got to keep the muscle then. So that's why, and again, how much protein should we be eating per day? You can click the link in the show notes of the podcast to use the free calorie calculator that will tell you your calories and your protein. But even on top of that, just as a quick general rule of thumb, take your goal body weight times 0.8, and that's typically how much grams of protein you should have per day as a minimum. So if you want to weigh 150 pounds, that's usually 120 grams of protein per day. Those are the two main ways where if you're in a calorie deficit and you're high protein and you're strength training, you won't lose muscle. Now, you will lose muscle glycogen. And so when people say, oh man, like I feel like I'm looking more flat or I'm looking smaller or my muscles don't look as defined, when you go into a calorie deficit, you have to you decrease your carbohydrates, not because carbs are bad, but to decrease overall calories, you're going to have to decrease carbohydrates. So less carbohydrates means less muscle glycogen. So less carbs in your muscles, less water in your muscles, which then makes your muscles look flat, look less defined. So that's why you might feel like, or you might think that you're losing muscle in a calorie deficit. As long as you're hitting your protein and as long as you are lifting weights, heavy strength training each week, you're not losing muscle. And when you increase your calories and increase your carbohydrates again, your muscles will refuel with that glycogen and you'll look more defined. That's why, like, I just talked to Coach Jenna before this podcast. And when Coach Jenna goes on her physique bodybuilding stage, she's going to have to like carb up. She's going to have to, she's going to get depleted of glycogen and then she's going to carb up for the show so her muscles look more defined. She's going to actually eat a fuck ton of carbohydrates because we want those muscles full of glycogen to look and to pop the way that we want. So again, in-depth answer, but that's how.
Can you, I don't know how sciencey you want to get, but can you just explain a little bit more about why it is that we breathe it out?
Um,
We don't have to. I'm so genuinely curious.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of just a simple way to, well, so you burn, so it's basically,
Like I thought
have
maybe
you ever
like do
heard,
you sweat it? Don't you sweat it? Like, 'cause
no,
that's what everyone says, like you sweat the fat.
no, that's not true. You breathe it out.
I guess
Because
in my
in
head I
your
had never
body,
thought of like what the actual process is. So like I have no
yeah.
idea.
Have you ever heard of like ketones? Have you ever heard of that? Like,
Yes.
you've heard of ketone. Have you ever heard of like
Yeah.
ketone breath? You ever heard of that either?
Yes.
So like when your body oxidizes fat, when your body uses fat for fuel, you don't like you could be using fat for fuel right now. So you're going to start sweating because you're burning fat? Like, no, like when your body is in a calorie deficit and you're oxidizing that fat, it's got to get rid of it somehow. And it does it through, when it oxidizes it, it gets through your breath. Like you breathe it out because that's the
Interesting.
only way to get out that like oxidized fat.
Interesting. Wow. Interesting. One more question. So you mentioned that like losing muscle, like let's say that someone starts they start calorie deficit and they're not lifting, so they start losing muscle. You mentioned that your metabolism slows down due to that. So I'm wondering if you can explain why that is. And then also, I guess like can we go into the reasons as to why other than it slows down your metabolism, someone wouldn't wanna lose muscle? Because I feel like some people are probably just focused on, because like, it's fair to say, right, that if you're not lifting and you're in a calorie deficit, maybe you lose a little more of scale weight a little bit faster than you would if you were lifting. So how can you like, health-wise, why would someone not wanna do that? Other than just like, losing muscle and, like, slowing down your metabolism as far as health goes.
Yeah. So the first part of the question, the first part of the question was how to prevent, or I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question?
Why is it that it slows down your metabolism when you lose
Oh,
muscle?
muscle is, like I said earlier, it's metabolically expensive. So what that means
Okay.
is it requires more calories to maintain. So
Okay.
and this is even going back to the first question, you could have two people who are eating the same amount of calories, but if somebody has more muscle, that person's going to burn more calories and create a bigger calorie deficit. So your muscles burn more calories to just be there. Like they need energy to stay alive. So again, when your body is going into a calorie deficit and it's trying to downregulate and it's trying not to burn as many calories, it's going to look at the most it's like if a company is looking to do layoffs, it's going to look at the most expensive places that they're spending money
Mhm.
and say, do I really need this? If I get rid of this, then shit, I'm going to save a lot of money. So your body looks at muscle the same way. It says it's the most expensive employee. I'm going to get rid of this and so I can save money. So unless you give it a reason to keep it, you'll lose it. So that's number one. Number two, why would someone not want to lose muscle? I mean, yeah, your metabolism slows down. Number two, from rebuilding muscle takes twice as long than losing it. So like you're putting yourself behind the eight ball of, if you did want to regain that muscle at some point, which most people do when they lose weight and they look soft and flabby and skinny fat, they're like, fuck, I don't even look the way I want to look. And that's when they realize I got to build muscle. They have a bunch of loose skin, so on and so forth. Loose skin isn't inherently bad, but that's what happens if you lose muscle. So it takes twice as long to rebuild it than to lose it. So you're just putting yourself like farther deeper in a hole where you don't have to do that. Number three, from an injury prevention standpoint, injury prevention, the more muscle you have, being strong and having muscle is like the best injury prevention you can have. That's not just for if Sophie goes on a hike and sprains her ankle, that's like when people turn 60, 70, 80, you fall and you break your hip. You fall and you break your arm. It's because you don't have any muscle mass. You're not strong. Your bones aren't strong. And that's the other thing, bone density. Typically, muscle is built through resistance training. Resistance training also increases bone density, which is massively important, especially for women, for men too, but especially for women. So that's a big component of it. And also, people don't understand muscle helps. You ever heard someone say they're insulin resistant? Have you ever heard that term
Mhm.
before?
Mhm.
Yeah. So number one, not a thing. You're insulin resistant because you're overweight and you're obese. Like that's why you're
Oh,
insulin resistant.
mhm.
But the more muscle you have, the better insulin sensitivity you have because your muscles, like I don't know if we talked about this in a podcast before. It might have just been me. I'm not sure, but your muscles help with insulin sensitivity because they need those nutrients and they need the carbs and they need the energy and all those sort of the vitamins, the minerals, which the insulin transports into your muscles. So now you become much more insulin sensitive in a positive way versus quote unquote insulin resistance. So, yeah, I mean, those are just a couple of reasons why that's important.
No, I just think it's important for us to cover that because I think a lot of people are not really thinking about the muscle building aspect of things. I mean, of course, I think more people are talking about it now, but yeah, just something to think about, I think, for people that are listening. Awesome. There's so much debate about meal timing and metabolism. Does it really matter if someone eats 6 meals versus 3 bigger meals? What does the science actually say about metabolic rate throughout the day?
Yeah, so when I read this question, does it really matter if someone eats 6 small meals versus 3 bigger ones? Does it matter for what? If we're solely talking about, like, metabolic rate and how many calories your body would burn in a day, if your calories are equated for, if your protein is equated for, if you're eating the same foods, then your metabolic rate would be, quote, unquote, "the same." Now, there's a lot of caveats to this, though, because let's say, for example, and I'm just gonna use examples, but let's say somebody eats 6 small meals a day, and that keeps them more energized. It keeps their energy levels up, which then keeps their NEAT up, their non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So they're moving more, they're moving their hands more, they're tapping their feet more, they're going on walks more, they're pushing harder in their workouts. That person would have a higher metabolism than somebody who maybe if they eat 3 big meals a day and they just feel like stuffed and bloated and lethargic afterwards, they're not gonna move as much, they're not gonna have as high of energy, so that might decrease their metabolism. Or, like, you could flip that around and be vice versa, right? So that's a potential thing there. The second potential thing is when we talk about workouts. So are we eating the same on workout day versus non-workout day? Because I know for me, especially when I have a hard and heavy workout, if I don't get some post-workout fuel afterwards, I definitely notice I'm more lethargic, I'm more tired, I become like hypoglycemic, I get like dizzy, like headache, like cold sweats, those sort of things. So I'm not going to want to do anything during that time. And I'm also not feeding my recovery because remember, recovering from workouts requires energy. So now, if you give your body more nutrients post workout, you're going to burn more calories. If you give your body more nutrients pre workout, you're going to go into your workout with more energy. So you'll lift heavier, you'll push yourself closer to failure, and you burn more calories during that workout. So there's so much like it depends, and there's so much context to does somebody like, oh, what's best, 6 meals or 3 meals? It depends. Like it depends on the person, depends on what you're doing on the day. And I know people don't like to hear that. They want like a concrete answer, but
Mhm.
that really is um that really is the case. And I think meal frequency should really be used for like a tool for adherence. Um and maybe a little bit of optimization, especially on like workout days, for example.
Do you technically burn more calories if you eat a lot more meals because your body's like digesting those meals versus just eating? Not really. Okay.
You'd have to digest the same amount of food regardless, calories.
But what about someone that's fasting? Like and they're eating, yeah, at 12 to like what about that? If someone does that, is it the same answer?
If their calories are the same and they eat the same types of foods and the same amount of foods, yeah.
Okay.
The only thing that might affect this is I've talked about before, when you eat protein every 2 to 6 hours, you typically spike your muscle protein synthesis a tad bit more. So if you do spike your muscle protein synthesis and now you are building more muscle throughout the day, through you building more muscle, you might burn more calories. Is that, like, that much? Probably not, but there could be some argument for that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that actually that makes sense. It's like you said, it's not so black and white. There's not a straight answer. I think like for people, they just kind of have to do an experiment with themselves and see what works better for them. Because everything, kind of what you're saying, it sounds like everything has a small effect on how you're going to feel. Like for example, like maybe 6 meals a day makes you feel better because you're eating more, or maybe 3 meals a day makes you feel better because you don't have to think about food as much, or maybe eating at 12 makes you feel better because you don't have to worry about breakfast versus like the other way around. Whatever way you feel could also impact how much you can adhere to your calorie deficit and how many calories you're burning. Yeah, I feel like not a straight answer.
No, and that's I mean, I I was gonna say I hate to keep plugging one-on-one coaching, but I don't hate to do it. I love to do it. But that's why with our one-on-one coaching, we've like fully personalized the plan to the individual. And with the state of the internet that we are currently in, and there's so much information, everybody's posting videos, everybody's putting their 2 cents out there. Like the way that we set up one-on-one coaching is fully personalized. And so you're gonna get a plan that is made specifically for you, for your life, for what's going to work for you. And you're going to get a coach to help you do just that. So I don't think there's many more things valuable than that right now. If somebody really wants to like excel at their fitness journey, getting personalized help, I've been in this space now. I was actually reflecting on this a couple days ago of how much the space has changed since I
Yeah.
started in 2020. But like right now, I don't know many more things more valuable than like talking to a real human being and getting a real plan set up for you based around your life. So that being said, if you're interested in joining one-on-one coaching, click the link in the show notes of the podcast to do so. You'll make Eric very happy because when I'm on vacation, I won't feel guilty for not working. How about that? There you go. I will throw in the guilt trip for you as well. Join coaching.
Do you feel really guilty when you go on vacation?
I will say no with an asterisk. With an asterisk of yes, but like I know like even so yesterday, for example, like, and this is not like I'm not fucking around when I say this. I woke up at 2:30. I was at my desk by 2:45. I worked
30
until
a.m. Jesus.
yeah. And that's not every single day. I just woke up and I was ready to go, whatever, right? But like I'm
Jesus.
using this as an example of why I don't feel as guilty. Um
Yeah.
I worked until like 12:45. I went to the gym from like 1 to 2, 2:15. Came home, ate, and then worked until like 9 p.m. And like that's if like and that's no bull like I swear in my life that's what I did yesterday. Knowing that, I'm like, okay, like I don't feel as guilty.
You deserve it.
There yeah, no, I don't think I deserve anything. I have
Jesus,
no, I don't
Eric.
no, I don't no, I don't deserve it. That's not what
You
I
don't
think.
deserve anything.
But I
Earned?
think no, if you get what you earn, like if
Exactly.
I
That's what I'm
earned
saying.
it.
You've earned it.
Yeah, but even like
You've earned
deserve,
your
like
vacation. I know. That's why I'm like paraphrase. I'm like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah,
let's forget
I get
deserve.
yes, fair,
Let's do
fair.
a podcast on this.
That being said, like you got to remember everything in the business, like from an and I don't. This is not entirely true, but like a lot of the new acquisition of how people learn about our business, get into our business, sign up for our business is through me. So like if I'm not here for 7 days, that's 7 days I feel like I'm letting you down. I'm letting Coach Jenna down. I'm letting Coach Jamie down. I'm letting Coach Irene down. I'm letting Nicole down. Like I'm letting our clients down. So yeah, I mean, I feel guilty for that to a degree, but at the same time, I also know me going on a vacation for 7 days is going to help me in the long run for the rest of the year because like I really look forward to these times. So yeah, it's a complex question, but
Yeah.
that's
You're gonna
somewhat of
show
the
up
answer.
better once you're recharged.
Hope so.
So yeah, yeah, I think so. All right, next question. We see a lot of people hit plateaus after losing their first 10 to 15 pounds. What's happening physiologically when someone plateaus, and is metabolic adaptation a real thing we should worry about?
Yeah, so I first want to talk about the plateaus because yes, some people plateau after 10, 15, 20 pounds. But we have also had people who will lose 60 pounds and never plateau once, never have to change their calories once. And I think of Coach Jamie was like this. She lost like 80 pounds without ever having to change her calories. So
Oh,
I think what happens to a lot of people is the first initial 10 to 15 pounds, if you're doing everything right and you're in the deficit, they go pretty quick, right? And especially because you're changing up food choices, you're maybe not drinking as much, you're not eating as much bullshit, you're walking more, you're drinking more water. So you drop a lot of water weight. You drop some fat as well, but you drop a lot of that water weight and then it slows down. And people are like,
mm,
I'm in a plateau. And it's like, you haven't lost weight for 4 days. That's not a fucking plateau. What the fuck are you talking about? Like now you're just actually in the real fat loss phase of like, you're not just losing water weight or extra bloat or those sort of things. You're losing 1 pound, a half a pound, pound and a half of fat per week. But people think that's a plateau because it's so much slower than what they were used to in the beginning. So And I always say, to be in a true plateau, you have to have at least 21 days of no scale movement, of no measurement movement, and no progress picture change, with at least 90% consistency with their calories. 98% of people who are listening to this cannot say that to be to be the case, to be the truth. Either they don't track their measurements, they don't track their pictures, they're not 90% consistent. It's been 21 hours, not 21 days. So most people just aren't fucking in a plateau. Now, do plateaus happen? Yes, they do. And this is different for everybody. People always ask me, well, how often should I change my calories? The answer is, it depends on you. I'm not entirely sure, because once again, I just use Coach Jenna as the example because I just talked to her, but she was also a client of mine and we were just talking about this. When I was taking Jenna through her bulk, we would eat, so we would bump up to like 2,600, and like a week or two would go by and she'd like check in and be like, scale's not really moving. And I'm like, all right, let's go to 2,850.
Dude,
We go to
I remember
2,850.
this.
Yeah, like we go to 2,850 and she's like, scale not moving still. And I'm like, 100. I remember one time I was like, dude, increase your calories by 500 per day. And she's like, are you
Jesus.
sure? I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit. I'm tired of this. And so,
I'm tired of this
yeah,
shit,
but she
Grandpa.
has a very adaptive metabolism. That's just like,
Yeah.
that's her genetics. Whereas some people, or decrease or increase, and like, cool, like they're fine. That's okay. So it just depends on your metabolism, which is why, again, if you're working with one of our expert coaches in one-on-one coaching, we can help you out with this. The link is in the show notes of the podcast if you would like to learn more about one-on-one coaching. But you just got to go by the data. Like everybody wants the answer is in the data. Most people either aren't tracking it, don't know how to track it, or don't have the time to track it. And that's where just outsource it to us and we will look at the data for you and just tell you what to do. In one of our recent podcasts with Camille said, like, listen, I'm just going to follow what Jamie tells me. If I don't see results, it's her fault, not mine. And I'm like, I agree 100%. Like, it's our job to tell you what to do. It's your job to follow it. And if you do follow it exactly as we say and you don't see results, it's our fault. So like, you can have no stress about it. We are the ones who are going to figure it out. You just go execute. So I know that was, a part of that. Now, the other part of, what is metabolic adaptation and is it real? Of course it's real. I always use the analogy of, think of your body wearing a backpack. If you were wearing a 15-pound backpack all day long through everything you did, up and down the stairs, getting in the car, getting out of the car, getting out of bed, chasing your kids around, whatever, and then at the end of the day, you take that backpack off, you would be able to move so much easier. It's not as hard or challenging for your body anymore. So when you lose those 15 pounds, it's not as hard or challenging for your body anymore. And think about 30 pounds, think about 50 pounds down. So yeah, your body is going to slow down your metabolism when you don't weigh as much, but that's what you want. Like, would you rather be 300 pounds with a 3,000 calorie maintenance, or would you rather be 150 pounds with a 2,100
Right.
calorie maintenance? Like, what are we talking about here? So the people who try to scare you about metabolic adaptation, they just don't have any fucking clue they don't know what they're talking about. And oh, by the way, there's a lot of people out there, and I highlight this for us. I've been coaching real people for 10 years this year. 10 fucking years. I have been a real coach, coaching real people, not just making social media content, not just like have a nice body that I can put on the Instagram and get a bunch of followers and show my workouts, like coaching real people. Now I have a whole team of coaches who coach real people. This is their full-time job. This is what they do all day, every day. I'm not just telling you this out of like theory or I heard someone else on Instagram say it. By the way, everybody copies everybody on Instagram anyway. Somebody messaged me and was like, hey bro, I'm going to copy your incline treadmill workout video. I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, whatever. I don't even give a shit, man. Like, so
Okay.
yeah, like I don't care, because it's like, that's the kind of shit I'm like, whatever, man. Like, I know that we coach real people. So getting sidetracked again, going back to the metabolic adaptation. Yes, metabolic adaptation is real. It is nothing to be afraid of. It's not a bad thing. It's necessary if you want to lose 50 pounds. And the other part about metabolic adaptation is when you get to your desired level of body fat, you will increase your calories. And guess what your body will do? You will increase your calorie burn per day. So your metabolism will go back up. It might not go back up to what it was before because you don't want to gain 50 pounds again, but you will increase your metabolism. It's like if you had a fire and you were putting more wood and more gasoline on the fire. You're going to have a bigger fire now when you're eating more calories. So your metabolism is adapted in both ways, not just going down. And the last thing, like people, oh, you have to take diet breaks or you can only calorie deficit for 12 weeks. Not true. No. Why would someone who has 100 pounds to lose only calorie deficit for 12 weeks? Makes no fucking sense. Once again, people don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Dude, I feel like I'm a good example because I'm still like I'm relatively low body fat. I'm very short. Like I have a very low daily calorie expenditure, but every time I've gone into a deficit, I've been able to lose weight. It's hard, but like it's not like I've adapted to like lower calories, if that makes sense. So there's that. I'm 4'11" and I weigh 119, something like that, and I still can lose weight every time. It's more so the way that I feel for me. It's more like the biofeedback that I experience when I get to a lower body fat percentage. But I actually was gonna bring up the diet breaks. So is that, let's say that someone has plateaued a little bit, would a diet break help like speed up their metabolism if they have in fact adapted somewhat or no?
No, no, unless it's at the very minimum, and somebody might have to quote me on the exact literature here because I know there was a couple of studies that came out that somewhat contradicted each other. If I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere between it has to be at least 2 to 4 weeks. So unless you take a diet break for at least 2 to 4 weeks, it does nothing for your metabolism. It and
Mm.
even if you do increase your metabolism in those 2 to 4 weeks, if you go back to the deficit, you're just gonna have the same metabolism
Eventually,
adaptation.
right.
So,
And
like,
eventually you're
again,
gonna get there regardless. Like when you hit your goal weight, like
100%.
you're gonna get there anyways.
100%. So,
Like
when I talk about people don't know what they're talking, like, people can't even use simple fucking logic, like simple common sense. Like, I just talked to you, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, people can't even do that. They just hear something and they're like, oh, I do this. So, no, I mean, a diet break can help you mentally, and in the short term, like, and somebody might argue, well, Eric, if I have a diet break for 5 days, I'll have more calories. I'll push harder in the gym. I'll burn more calories that way. Fair play, and when you increase your calories, you de-stress your body a bit. So your body might release some water weight. But once again, long term, if you want to be in the calorie deficit and lose 10, 15, 20 more pounds, you're going to have to do that through a calorie deficit, not fucking diet breaks. Like I want to say the worst. One of the questions that I just never understand what people, well, I understand when people ask it, but they're like, hey, to break a plateau, should I increase my calories? I'm like, no, no, where are you hearing this? Like, I don't, because I don't
me,
consume a lot of content. I'm like, where are you hearing this? Like, it doesn't, like,
people
that
say that.
doesn't make sense.
People definitely say that. And that is
I
a
know they
very
do, but they don't know what
that's a
they're talking
known
about.
concept, dude. Like so many of my friends have told me that. And like I try not to like I try to be very likable, so I don't like to correct people. But it's like
You
I
shouldn't want to
need you
be
to send
liked. You
me
should be respected.
yeah, but it's like I just like I don't even feel like there. I just don't think I'm gonna convince them. So I think you need to set. I need to get reels from you and then have them on my phone and be like, "This is what Eric said, not me." But like the amount of people that have said to me like things like, "Oh, your metabolism's gonna slow down," and like, da, da, da. Like it's fucking bullshit. But anyways,
Yeah, but also they're not supposed to know. I
right?
get it, right? Like you this is not what you've dedicated the last 10 years. This is what I've
Yeah,
dedicated the last 10 years of my life to. So like that's
totally.
why I know this. Like I don't expect
Yeah,
someone listening to know this, but also
yeah,
that's why I say like you need to have some more discernment on who you listen to and who you don't listen to
yeah.
because
No, for
a lot of
sure.
people chatting
But
shit out there that just have no clue.
yeah. Also, I feel like if someone was to take a diet break, um, it's just like, let's say that you take a break for 4 weeks, it's just 4 weeks that you could have been in a deficit, so you're just extending how long you are going to it's going to take for you to get there, so
Yeah, and some people might be, like, fine with that because, like, well, it's like
Right.
to your point, well, I felt like shit, and so, like, one strategy we use, sometimes for people who are shorter especially, is, like, because they have to go so low in calories, we'll do, like, 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or something like that. So, like, just to make them not feel like complete garbage, we might use that strategy, but, like, we're not doing it because of their metabolism, we're doing it because they feel like shit every day for eating 1,300 calories.
Yeah, dude, and we don't have to go too into this, but I don't know how much you've spoken to Miranda, but she's really been struggling with losing weight, which it's really interesting. Um, because like one of the things I was gonna mention is obviously this is all with a caveat that you gotta make sure that you're actually hitting your calories and not just saying that like your metabolism slowed down. But Miranda's someone that like she hits her steps, she hits her calories, and for some reason, like now she struggles a lot more than she used to before. And it's just interesting. So I feel like it could be the case sometimes. But yeah, I mean that's a topic that could be explored more
Yeah.
deeper.
I mean, I love Miranda and I know her, and I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I would have to ask Coach Mary about that because she would know a little bit better than I would know. Um, that being said, though, like I I don't know if this is the case with her or not, but I also think sometimes people like want to lose more weight, but then do we want to do what is necessary to lose that weight? Whether it's the last 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, everybody's a little bit different, right? Like, I remember there was a point in my life, I probably like a couple of years ago, where I was just okay with being 22% body fat. I probably shouldn't have been, but I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm
Yeah.
lifting heavy. I don't really care. Yeah, I probably should have lost some weight, but like I wasn't willing to do that. Like I just wanted to get stronger and fuel my body and feel great instead. So there's
That's a
also
good
that
point.
concept of people think they need to weigh a certain number, and it's like, okay, do you want to do X, Y, and Z to weigh that number? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so then you don't want to weigh that number. You don't want to be that body fat percentage. So I think that's an argument as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think specifically with her, it's not, I think what she needs to do has changed from what she had to do before, like in a very small amount of time. And so, not to say that she's like not willing to put in the work, but I think it's changed. Like she has to do, she has to drop her calories a lot more. And then that could just be like really, really bad biofeedback for her, and, like other people that maybe experience the same thing. So, that's where it like sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, do we have time for one more? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. What about the psychological side? How does our brain respond to being in a deficit? Is there actual science behind those intense cravings people get, and why do some people get hangry?
Yeah,
So that
so
was
I've
like
said this
three questions
before.
in one.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes back to more or less the same thing. It's like, I often it's like an emergency broadcast system. Like, like when there's a fucking tornado in Florida, like every TV goes to like there's a tornado, there's a hurricane coming. This is not good. Like that's kind of what your body is doing to all facets of your body. So when your body's energy reserves, your fat tank, your fat cells shrink, then they stop sending the I'm safe signals to the brain. The brain treats this like a life threatening emergency. It hijacks all of your logic and it makes you like think that you're actually in an emergency state. So it wants to maintain homeostasis. It doesn't want to lose weight, doesn't want to gain weight. It wants to maintain the exact same. So if you're in the deficit, especially for a prolonged period of time, then your body is going to start sending signals to you that says, hey, we need to get out of this. This is not good. This is not safe. We want to just be able to chill and maintain. And that's why all these things happen. And it's not a lack of willpower for late night cravings, for example. It's it's the dopamine system, number 1, craving a hit of energy, and it's number 2, like, your chemical system basically putting you in this, like, survival mode, not starvation mode, that is not a real thing, but, like, the survival mode of, "We don't have enough calories coming in, we don't know what's" like, it doesn't know you wanna lose fat and look better in a fucking bikini for Hawaii or something, it just knows stress and it knows survival, so that's what's going on, and that's why these things happen because the intense craving of sugar, for example, well, what is sugar? It's a very quick digesting energy source. What is your body looking for? energy because it's deficient in energy because you are in a calorie deficit. So it's like, what is the quickest way we can get energy? Oh, sugar. Great. Let's go get some sugar. So you have these cravings. And that's why it's so important to eat high volume foods. It's important to eat your protein. It's important to drink water. And that's why when we say calories in, calories out, yeah, but again, there's so much within the calories in, calories out that plays a role, essentially in what your body is reacting and responding to. So yeah, that's why that happens.
Yeah, and I think I had mentioned this a little bit earlier, but just kind of there's a smarter way of doing a deficit. And I know we've talked about it a lot of times. And even when I first did my deficit with you, I know you taught me a lot of these things. Like, just basically, the better you do a deficit, the better you're gonna feel, and then the better it's gonna go, and the better that you're going to adhere to that deficit. I'm also thinking, I know we've talked about the brain stuff a lot before, but I'm like, do you feel like to a degree, and this is more applicable maybe to someone that's done several deficits before, that you almost have like an automatic response because your brain knows you're in a deficit. So then you feel hungry or you feel certain things more so like the learned response from your brain to you being in a deficit more so than the actual physical response.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point to bring up, and I think that also depends on, like, for example, previous dieting history. Because if somebody
Mm,
in the past
yeah,
thinks a diet means 1,200 calories and no
right.
bad foods and can't go out to eat on the weekends and all these things, like, the second they start, they're like, "Fuck, this is gonna suck." And then it's like what I say with anxiety. Like, if you're trying to have no anxiety, the second you have some, it's way worse. It's like if you're going into your deficit thinking like, "Oh my God, I'm going to feel so restricted. I'm going to feel so this, so that." It's like, well, yeah, then that's what's going to happen. You're going to feel that way. So I think what you brought up there is a great point. And that's why, again, with our coaching and our philosophy and the way that we like to set things up, that's why we intentionally incorporate people's favorite foods into their diet. I don't know if you saw this on my Instagram or not, but speaking of an email again, somebody emailed me, which by the way, this is like going actually full circle, going back to the beginning of the podcast. Some people are just fucking miserable, and God, does that piss me off. Like this lady, she opted into the calorie calculator. She got her
Uh-huh,
calories and macros for free. By the way, people
uh-huh,
still charge like 50 to $100 to do that. I don't know how
uh-huh.
or why people pay it. And then in the calorie calculator, I have example meal plans, like 1,600 calories, vegan, vegetarian options, all for free. It's all for free. So she has the fucking balls, obviously not because she's a girl, but like she has the balls to fucking reply back to me and be like, "You have a cookie in your meal plan? Is this real?" And I was like, "Hey, Trina, like you should probably eat a couple cookies and like take the edge off a bit." I'm like if you want some more help, let me know. She's like, "I don't need anything from you. I don't eat cookies or sugar." I'm like, "That's probably why you're miserable."
Jesus.
So, but like hate people like that. Like I just gave you all this for free and you're going to bitch about it. Like craziness to me. But that being said, we work in cookies for people. We work in Lay's chips. We work in insert your favorite food. You need to still eat those because that also helps your brain not be like, "I'm so restricted. I can't have this. I can't do this." I always go back to the can of soda analogy. When you try to cut everything out, you are shaking up an unopened can of soda. And when you open it, whether it's in a week, whether it's in 4 days, whether it's in 4 weeks, when you open that can of soda, what happens? It fucking explodes everywhere.
Yeah,
And that's what you do with your diet when you finally
yeah.
have these foods you've been over restricting yourself with.
Mhm. Also, like, nobody's telling you you need to eat a cookie. You don't have
People are,
to.
Sophie,
Like, if I'm thinking, like, if you are someone like, okay, I don't know if you remember forever ago, I had talked about one of my friends, her sister is super health conscious. She eats like almost no processed foods. She's genuinely like healthy. Okay. And like in my eyes, what I would consider someone super healthy, but she genuinely enjoys it. And I feel like she trained her brain to like that. So like if you genuinely want to like fully change your like that part of yourself and you want to do that, that's great. But like what you're saying is like you shouldn't just do that to lose weight and then right go back. But like you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's nuance to that
yeah,
as
but you
well. Like
also
if you don't
shouldn't,
want a cookie, don't eat it.
yeah, 100%, but you also shouldn't be scared or anxious or
Right.
think it's the devil. Like that's
Right.
what we call a disordered relationship with food. Like that's not healthy. So again, you don't have to eat the fucking cookie. I don't give a shit. But if you think it's gonna kill you,
Right.
well, that's
What's
not
that?
healthy. I don't care I don't care what you say. That is not healthy. Now, of course, anything in excess, like no, it's not good to have 20 cookies in a
Of
fucking sitting or
course.
20
Of
cookies a day.
course.
But like there should not like I'm about to go on vacation. Like I'm gonna eat whatever I want. I'm gonna have desserts. I'm gonna have smoothies. Hopefully, I like smoothies. I'm gonna get some smoothies in the morning. Like I don't care. I'm gonna eat whatever I want for a week because like it's a fucking week. So I'm gonna come back and I'll get back to my regular life afterwards. Like I'm not stressing over it. That is a healthy that is healthy. Healthy is not just like your body metrics. That is a part of health. But then also the part of health is your relationship with food, your relationship with
Yeah.
exercise, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your body image. So many things. That could be a
Yeah.
podcast in and of itself.
That could be a podcast. No, I agree. I just wanted to talk about the brain stuff because it's like my favorite subject. Love brain
Sophie's the
stuff.
brain expert.
I love talking about it. It's so interesting. Um, Dude, that's all the questions I had. Anything else you want to mention?
No. Go sign up for
No?
coaching and
Go sign up for
yeah,
coaching.
go sign up for coaching. And we're still
Yeah.
gonna have we're still gonna have pods during the week. So like we
Yes.
already I try to do the best I can, and I prepped everything beforehand. We got everything recorded. Sophie's working extra hard here to get everything uploaded and make sure you guys still have podcasts for when I'm out on vacay. So you guys can thank Sophie for that. Thank you, Sophie, in advance for that. And yeah, so keep tuning in. And again, if you want to make me happy, sign up for coaching, join the clubhouse, do something this week because it will make me not feel as guilty. So thanks so much in advance, peeps.
I'm gonna go rogue and post a lot of shit while you're gone.
Go for it.
Just kidding.
I won't see any of it, so it's fine.
That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't even know.
I wouldn't even know. Wouldn't even
That's
know.
hilarious. Oh
Cool.
man. All right, dude. Well, that's all.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you guys. I will I'll be seeing you, but I won't be seeing you until I don't even know when. I think the Wednesday after I get back would be the first new podcast, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So
Yeah.
cool. All right, guys. Well, have
All
a
right,
great
dude.
time and we will chat soon. All right.